All right, let's talk life. So, I was putting this disclaimer out there before we go down this. I had a huge migraine yesterday, and my brain still isn't operating at full capacity, so you have to excuse any ramblings on what is quite a deep philosophical subject. You know, the meaning of life, the purpose of life, why we're all here on this little ball of mud and sand and sea and whatever else. So I think, given that life is so strange at the moment, you know, we've gone through this pandemic, we've survived it, and now we're being hit with all this other crap, governments, cost of living crisis. There's so much being thrown at us all the time. It can be really easy to just say, you know, what's the point? What is the point in life? What is the purpose? And there tends to be two ways of looking at this that I've observed within people recently. The first is that, you know, there is no point. It's quite a nihilistic point of view of looking at things. Actually, there is no point in life. Life has no point. There is no purpose. And that in itself is problematic, because if there is no point, if there is no purpose, then there is no rules, there is no structure, there is no meaning behind anything. And that in itself can be quite dangerous. So what we have on the flip side of that is people who are very much involved in religion, and they seek meaning through, you know, religious practice. And, you know, that's not right, it's not wrong, there's nothing, you know, it is what it is. If you are religious, fantastic. If you're not, great, doesn't matter. It's another means of assigning purpose to life. Because if we go down the route of religion, we start to put in a structure, we start to put in rules, we start to have things that guide us, things that we can look to. So it's the complete opposite of the life has no meaning, life has no purpose group. So what I think we need to be doing is finding that happy middle ground, you know. Do we really want to be governed by laws and things that are created by someone other than ourselves? For me, personally, no. That's not how I want to live my life. I don't want to be told what to do by the contents of a book that was written a very, very long time ago. If you do, great, that's for you, but that's definitely not for me. You know, I'm not saying I don't believe in life after death or in a higher power. There is definitely something there. But I don't prescribe to traditional formats of religion. So for me, the middle ground is more of an existential view of life. This idea that, yeah, perhaps there is no point, but in that, there's a gift, because we then have the ability to assign a purpose, to find a point. So the idea that life is meaningless, it has no meaning, actually becomes something quite useful, because we are able to assign our own meaning to it. We can give it meaning. But in order to do that, in order to give life meaning, in order to make it matter, in order to seek purpose, you have to have an understanding of what you value. You have to know what you care about. You have to know what you want for yourself. And all of that comes from knowing yourself and being comfortable with who you are as a person, so who you are at your core. So until you start to accept yourself, know yourself, and understand things like values, you know, preferences, things you enjoy, things you like, things you want, things you don't want, life won't have any meaning. And that's something we really focus in on within Project Tempest. You know, the second phase of the program, of the journey program, is clarity of purpose, and that is largely based around you discovering what it is you want. Because without that, we end up going down those other two paths. We either end up finding purpose in something outside of ourselves, so a religion or a group or something like that, or we decide there is no meaning and we become very deflated, very unenthused, very unmotivated, very flat, and there is nothing to pursue. So if we can seek that middle ground, then we can save ourselves from the two ends of the spectrum and ultimately give ourselves our own purpose, our own reason for being, our own expression of what life should be for us. So that's something for you to think about today, is where do you sit on that scale? Do you allow external means to dictate your life, your purpose, who you are and what you care about? Or do you sit on the other end and you don't understand purpose? You think life is pointless? Or are you a bit more in the middle ground? Are you somewhere here with me in this idea that we choose our purpose? We dictate what the purpose of our life is about. So drop it in the comments. Let me know. Let me know your thoughts. Which end of the scale do you sit on? I'd be interested to know. And if you are a religious person, I'd love to know your viewpoint around your own, your religions and your beliefs. So drop it in the comments and let me know. I look forward to reading them.